We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. Oh, it's episode 316. You know what that means. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. Elsewhere on the screen, joining us this week, the one and only Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, what's going on tonight, sir?
I'm actually kind of disappointed with myself now, considering it's episode 316, and I made the whole scene on episode 300 about us getting some
What?
some broken skull beer.
What?
Oh, I'm kind of disappointed with myself now. I should have kept more in track with these episode numbers. Damn it!
It just occurred to me now, but yeah, I do actually have some broken skull in my fridge down here, but that's beside the point.
Get one out right now and chug it down, damn you.
Speaking of beer, joining us also this week, as always, the Scholars of Wrestling heavyweight champion of the world, the one and only Scholar Brian. Scholar Brian, how are you doing tonight, sir?
It's episode 316, which means I'm going to kick all three of your asses and retain my title come this Sunday. Saturday night, 11:01 p.m. It'll come down that Scholar Brian retains the Scholars of Wrestling heavyweight title.
Someone's already hard at work doing those 12-ounce curls, aren't you, Brian?
Of course.
Celebrating 316 episodes in style.
Oh, yes.
But yes, as was alluded to, this is an AEW pay-per-view weekend. It's AEW Full Gear, and there's a whole lot of wrestling goodness. And as far as the Scholars of Wrestling show is concerned, you know what that means. It's time for a prediction show. So what do you say we get to it? What do you say, gentlemen?
Get right to it. And Brian, since you started, you got to finish that beer right now. Chug that shit. What? I said chug that shit. Do it. Do it.
It looks like he...
Go. What? There you go.
Remix? What? Swiggity swooty, all I have is a clear liquid.
Party on.
Me too.
And on that happy note...
The party champion's not here, man.
Not this week anyway, but hey, stay tuned. But anyway, all that fun stuff aside, it's AEW Full Gear time. So let's dive right in with the predictions. Starting with the pre-show, we've got in a surprising turn of events, we've got for the NWA Women's Championship, we've got the new champion, Serena Deeb versus Allison Kay. I'm a little surprised that this happened this way, but hey, this new NWA partnership seems to be bearing some interesting fruit. Starting with the current and defending champion, Scholar Brian, Serena Deeb versus Allison Kay. Who do you got?
I'm not completely surprised that they were able to pull this off, because I believe that the NWA and AEW have always had a pretty good relationship. That's why they've been able to get Ricky Starks. That's why they've been able to get Eddie Kingston. So it was no surprise to me that as soon as Allison Kay became a free agent from NWA, that they were able to do this. This is basically, to me, it's a tryout match for Allison Kay. If she does well here, we're going to see something at the end of the pay-per-view. We're going to see that photo. Allison Kay is all elite, that kind of deal. But yeah, they're not going to change a title that's not theirs on their show. So Serena Deeb is going to win here, but this is basically a showcase match for Allison Kay to show what she can do to Tony Khan and Kenny Omega, who runs the women's division, and to see if she fits in with what they've got going here. But Serena Deeb's the NWA champion. The NWA championship isn't going to change hands, especially when the challenger isn't contracted to NWA anymore. Serena Deeb retains.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. This was a fairly easy pick. As much as I wouldn't mind seeing Allison Kay as NWA Women's Champion again, you're absolutely spot on. Where I don't think if this was on the main card, I'd say that there would be more of a chance of a title change. But NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, Women's Champion, I don't think it's going to happen on especially not on the pre-show. Fool, do you concur?
I do concur. I'm also choosing Serena Deeb. Pretty much the same reason you guys said. They're not only they're not going to have them change hands on a separate company's show, but on the buy-in show, if anything else. So you got that is nothing more to add. But yeah, Serena Deeb for the win.
All right, straightforward enough. Going to the main card, which could be straightforward as well. We've got Orange Cassidy versus someone who appears to be a rising star in the Dark Order, John Silver. This one, let's face it, I don't see Orange Cassidy losing this one. As much as John Silver's stock is rising, Orange Cassidy is just like leagues beyond him. His stock is rising, especially after his feud with Jericho. The man is there. I don't see him losing anytime soon. Orange Cassidy for the win. Tarek, it's your pick. Who do you got versus Orange Cassidy or John Silver?
I am also going to go with Orange Cassidy over Long John Silver.
Why the hell didn't I think of that? Half an imaginary point to you, sir. Brian, who do you got? Do we have a concurrence here?
I enjoy John Silver's antics a lot. On TV, on Dark, on whenever he's on BTE or any of the or any of the AEW backstage segments. Okay, he has charisma for days. Okay, he's gonna be the breakout of the underlings of the Dark Order. Okay, but Orange Cassidy is Orange Cassidy. Okay, and
that's all you need to say.
At this point,
Orange Cassidy.
Okay, or John Silver is not at the level yet where I can see him beating an Orange Cassidy. So yeah, Orange Cassidy is gonna take this one, unless they're gonna go full fuckery and try to have Orange Cassidy join the Dark Order. That would be some shit. But yeah, I don't see that happening. Orange Cassidy wins here.
Now I kind of want to see Orange Cassidy versus Mr. Brody Lee.
It'll come. It's the next step.
Oh yeah, he'll just keep rising through each member of the Dark Order until he reaches the head of the Dark Order, Mr. Brody Lee.
Hey, speaking of faction warfare here and climbing the ranks, we've got what's very well could be the first very interesting match on the card. We've got Chris Jericho versus MJF, where if MJF wins, he is officially a member of the Inner Circle. And Tarek, it's your pick first. Who do you got, Jericho or MJF?
I feel like it's for the main story to continue. MJF kind of has to win this one. I mean, he doesn't need the Inner Circle, but the way I just see it going, I just basically see this leading into an Inner Circle Civil War type ordeal, where it's just basically, or if anything, shock of the century, the Inner Circle actually helped MJF win and just to kick Chris Jericho out. But that one, I see less likely happening. I kind of want to see the Inner Circle Civil War, just seeing the team split up into halves and just, I guess, in a way similar to NWO and the Wolfpack, but to a less extreme because, you know, the Inner Circle doesn't have the entire AEW roster as members. So,
thank goodness.
Yeah, right.
All right, Brian, your pick. Who do you got, Jericho or MJF?
Yeah, I've got this is obviously a long-term deal. They're setting this up for the long term. So MJF has to win here so he can get into the inner circle. It's just a question of how they're going to play it afterwards. Okay, the inner circle is not going to turn on Jericho here. Okay, that's not gonna happen. It's just a question of whether MJF is going to ingratiate himself and slowly take over the inner circle and kick Jericho out, or they're going to do like a best friends Owens Jericho deal, and the other members of the inner circle is, what the fuck is going on here? And so it happens that way.
With how you worded the whole him eventually turning on Jericho and them beating him, I kind of picture like a whole CM Punk kicking Wade Barrett out of the Nexus. Like,
yeah,
that kind of reveal.
Oh, like with the armband rip, that was still great.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
something reaching that level of drama, just, and then they'll recreate what they did with CM Punk and Wade Barrett with the Lion King background.
And it'll work so much better because and
Sammy Guevara
so
and Simba going, no!
And it'll work so much better because Jericho can do that sympathetic at the end of it, because people already love him. They're singing his theme song on the way to the ring, even though he's the biggest heel. He's the second biggest heel they've got.
Well, yeah, Judas kicks ass, man.
Yeah, but so it's very easy to turn him back to a good guy. So it's like this gets MJF over huge. He gets a win on Jericho, and then he slowly starts taking away the inner circle from him. I mean, that's basic, really good long-term storytelling. So in order for that to happen, MJF has to win. So MJF.
Yeah, it's going to be another consensus for us for the night, at least so far. MJF must win this one, and even if it is predictable, like you said, there's too much narrative potential here. The story is going to be great. The matches are going to be great all around. So yeah, MJF to win. Let's see. In the meantime, let's see. Where are we now? I'm last. So yeah, next one is Brian. And Brian, your next pick is for the AEW Women's Championship. We've got Hikaru Shida defending against Nyla Rose. Brian, who do you got?
There's almost no build for this. What did they do? Like a
women's division in general in AEW.
I mean, like what did they do? A week, maybe two?
I don't recall anything really.
So here's the deal. Okay, this is for the last couple pay-per-views. Okay, we've said that Hikaru Shida is holding this until Britt Baker is healthy enough to take the title back, to take the title and become the face of the women's division. And yeah, for me that still stands. Yeah. So because there's no build, okay, because really AEW seems to like having people give a shit about their title changes. So, and if Nyla Rose won here, like when she won the first time, I gave a shit. But it's like if she won here, I wouldn't, because there's nothing behind it at all. So, no, this isn't how you do. This isn't when you do a title change. So, Shida retains.
All right, this is going to be the first major difference of opinion here. I'm going to go with Nyla Rose, strictly because the 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 AEW women's division needs it needs to be shaken up. It's getting really stale right now, and I feel like there's no major challengers for Hikaru Shida, and I feel like she, along with the rest of the women's division in AEW right now, just seems to be missing something. I agree with you that they definitely see something in Breaker. I don't think it's necessarily Britt Baker either. Like, if AEW has shown me in particular one thing, it's that some of their title switches are not always as predictable as WWE would seem to project that they are. With this one, especially since we're going to be seeing a NWA Women's Championship match, I see the possibility that there could be an influx of new challengers here, or at least new characters, new personalities, new whatever. And it even extends to this very match now that they've got Vicky Guerrero in Nyla's corner here, which I think is going to be a bit of a difference maker and a bit of escalation that Nyla is going to need in terms of like the in-ring narrative to actually pull it out. Like I know I use the word the term Goro vibes to show off Nyla Rose. Well, if Nyla Rose is Goro, Vicky Guerrero is going to be the Shang Tsung. So yeah, Nyla Rose for the win. Tarek, break the deadlock.
I definitely see where you're going with Fool, and that'll be a very interesting. It's an interesting idea, especially Vicky can basically she's the Paul Heyman to Nyla Rose's Brock Lesnar. But yeah,
that's a much better analogy.
I have the same mind frame as Brian with them saving the title for Britt Baker when she comes back full time. So yeah, I'm also gonna pick Hikaru Shida for the win on this one, because they're honestly they don't give a shit about the women's division right now until Britt Baker comes back, because that's who they wanted to be the face of the women's division from the very beginning. And since she got injured, they was like, okay, let's put that on pause until she's completely fine. And yeah, they definitely show that they're putting the women's division on pause, considering they don't really care.
All right, the next match up, we've got Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara in a not ultimate deletion match thing.
Elite deletion.
Thank you. For this one, yeah, in my eyes, it's fairly obvious that since they're doing it this way and it's going to be a blow off, I think they're going to be doing some sort of like Chronicles of Matt Hardy crazy cinematic stuff. So yeah, I'm going with Matt Hardy to win. Fool, your pick. Who you got?
This is at the Hardy. What is it? Compound.
Hardy Compound.
Yeah, I had a brain fart for a quick second. So, yeah, we're obviously gonna see I'm also gonna go with Matt Hardy. It's actually kind of funny because I can actually see Sammy Guevara actually pulling a surprise upset and winning this one, but I see him. But I don't know. All I can say about this is I just want this feud to be over with. They've done so much to basically literally kill each other in this feud that it's kind of scary, and I don't want to see Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy in the ring anymore, on the opposite sides anymore. So I guess this is just the safe call, but I'm just gonna go with Matt Hardy.
Brian, do we have an accord?
Yes, because it's a deletion match at the Hardy compound. Okay, if Bray Wyatt couldn't do it, if Jeff Hardy couldn't do it, okay, this little kid Sammy Guevara isn't gonna be the first to do it. Okay, that's it. And this actually goes into later on in the night. Like, I think they did a disservice making in the midst of this feud, making one of their matches a last man standing match. I'm like, a match later on tonight would have been so much better for that first last man standing match in AEW, but this feud has been snake bitten since the moment it was written. Like, everything that could possibly go wrong with these two did at some point in this feud. Everything, like the suspension, the injuries, what started this feud in the first place, the chair thrown to cut him open. I'm like, I don't even think this was supposed to be a long-term feud. But then that chair throw that cut him open and made his whole face look like Eddie Guerrero after that messed up blade. That's it. You kind of had to go with the feud at that point. But if it's a deletion match, any other match that they could have had, okay, I would have given a thought to Sammy Guevara winning this, maybe doing an upset. But it's a deletion match at the Hardy compound. No.
Sammy Guevara is being thrown into the lake of reincarnation.
Exactly.
And he comes back with that panda head.
Just come back. He's gonna be gone for like a couple of weeks, and then he's just gonna come back as a big baby face, especially after his somewhat baby face run on this past episode of Dynamite Kick.
Because as soon as MJF is in the inner circle, Sammy Guevara is slowly getting phased out. They've already started that.
That one I didn't even think of, but hey, there might be some truth to that as well.
Then you could get an MJF versus Sammy feud, and here we go.
But moving on, until we get that, we've got, for the AEW tag team titles, we've got FTR versus the Young Bucks. It's finally happening, and Fool, I believe it's your pick. FTR or the Young Bucks? Who do you got?
I don't see AEW pulling another the team actually losing the ability to go for the title ever again. I don't see them doing that with the Young Bucks. So I'm going to say the Young Bucks win this one. Actually, I was this was actually a pretty challenging prediction for me, because I was thinking, instead of, it's either the Young Bucks are going to win, which if they have a winner, yeah, that's what it's going to happen. But then I also thought maybe they just end the match with the time limit ending, where nobody wins, and the stipulation pretty much becomes in void because the match ends and there is no winner. And that'll be their way of keeping the storyline going with these two, because even both FTR and the Young Bucks have said that even though this has basically been all these years of them Twitter warring each other leading to this, they felt like the feud itself has been kind of lackluster and in a way disappointing. So I can see them making that as an excuse to keep the feud going and just having a time limit end where no one wins. But if I were to choose a solid winner, I'd go with the Young Bucks. I see Cody doing that, but I don't see the Young Bucks doing that a year later.
Interesting. Brian, your turn. Who you got? FTR or the Young Bucks?
He basically took the words right out of my mouth. It's one of those, okay, Cody's already done it. He's doubled down. Even though he's got his last name back, he's not going to pull any shit.
I like that he addressed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get the idea, and I think that if they go heel at any point, that the Young Bucks would be the ones to go around that and just be like, I don't give a shit. I'm the EVP. I'll do what I want. I'll give myself title chances, and this one was actually kind of hard for me to predict when it came out that I think it was Matt Jackson has the knee problems.
Yeah,
I believe.
mm-hmm.
So that kind of made it harder for me. But it's like they're not gonna do. They're not gonna pull the same stipulation twice on another set of EVPs in the company. Okay, that and so yeah, I think the Young Bucks take this one. For Tarek's idea for the time limit draw, I don't think it's a good idea to do that for title matches at this point. The company's still too new.
They did that with the TNT title.
When
he fought Orange Cassidy the first time. Cody.
Yeah, I didn't like it then either. So
but it has happened.
Yeah, that has happened. So it's not completely.
It's not completely out of the realm of possibility, but that match also wasn't on pay-per-view. So it's like when people are actually paying to see your show $50, okay, I think it's not a good idea for a title match to go to a time limit draw.
Just watch this, what they actually do, and just like, yeah, screw you guys and your predictions.
Yeah, okay.
You all lose.
Then I'd have to start being, okay, AEW, I'm starting to see the WWE in you. I don't want it to go that way. So I think there needs to be, maybe there's some bullshit, maybe there's not, but I think there needs to be a winner, and because of the stipulation choice, they're not going to do that twice. So the Young Bucks win.
Yeah, for this one, again, I sort of went back and forth on this one myself, considering that, you said Matt Jackson's dealing with a knee injury, and this there's just been so much build up here. I'll be honest, I'm going to go with FTR on this one. All this talk about, on a certain logic, you don't see them, the Young Bucks rather, being the ones to go with that whole same stipulation that Cody already did. But then again, I'm like, number one, I'm not so sure. Number two, I'm not sure how badly Matt Jackson is injured right now. And number three, given the nature of this entire feud, I'm not so sure that they actually need the belts involved to begin with. So that's not a total write-off for me, at least, if they want to see this feud continue. Plus, let's be real, I like to mix it up, and I like to be the contrarian to make things interesting during prediction shows. So all of those things all combined into one, I'm going to go FTR for the win for this one.
And this time, okay, it's not an automatic loss because it's not Lacey Evans that you're giving your vote to.
Hey. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be, unless something changes, I'm not going to be backing Lacey in any title matches anytime soon. But hey, hope springs eternal. On his
word, Brian.
What's up?
He's going back.
No, title matches. Title matches for Lacey. If they start giving Lacey title matches again, I'll have no choice but to back her. Because I am a nasty. That's how I roll.
Instead, now they just throw her with Peyton Royce.
For some reason. Don't even get me started.
They broke up the that this is an AEW show. We're not going to get started on breaking up the Iconics to put
You
in.
brought up Lacey Evans first, Brian. That's on you.
I was going to say, don't get me started on Lacey Evans, but I mean, come on. Come on.
The big
Else-
problem is the other side of that tag team, but okay, we'll move on.
You're not wrong. Elsewhere, we've got, Brian, I believe it's your pick, and we've got, for the TNT Championship, we've got Cody Rhodes versus Darby Allin. Who do you got for this one?
It's time. Okay, Cody Rhodes has been doing the John Cena thing. Okay, he's been doing the open challenges. He's been putting people over in losses or whatever. It's time for him to do what John Cena did for Kevin Owens. It's time for him to actually make a star. It's time Darby Allin wins the TNT title. Because, okay, there's ready-made feuds already. Okay, you had Taz on Dynamite talking about how pissed off he is that TK is only talking about people on pay-per-view. Okay, you've got Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, who have been on Darby Allin's business since God knows how long, since they started in the company. Okay, it was the main event segment in the Go Home show. Cody Rhodes cutting that promo saying that Darby Allin doesn't have what it takes. Okay, that's just 3 signs of the change to come. So, and this won't be like Brody Lee, a transitional thing to have Cody needed some time off to do whatever, and then he came back and took the title back. No, Darby Allin's taking this and holding it for a bit. So, yeah, I think it's time. Cody Rhodes is making a new star coming this Saturday night. Darby Allin wins the TNT.
I'll join you on that one. Darby Allin, he needs something for a while. And this is just the right thing at the right time in my mind. So, yeah, I'm going to join you on that. Darby Allin wins. Fool, what do you think?
The first thing I'm going to say is I'm actually kind of disappointed that they're throwing the TNT title on a pay-per-view, which I said it in the very beginning. The TNT title should only be defended on Dynamite Kick since, it's actually on the TNT network. But I digress. I'm also going to go with Darby Allin. I'm not necessarily thrilled about it because I'm not really a big fan of Darby Allin. But I'm going with my head on this one, and I just think they're just going to give him the belt. Yeah.
That's it.
Whatever. The man just doesn't impress me.
I get that. Seeing his style, it certainly doesn't seem like it's for everyone.
It's very polarizing. Yes, a lot of people enjoy it. Me, I enjoy it, but I can see how people wouldn't.
Next match we've got for the number 1 contendership for the AEW Championship, we've got the tournament finals: Hangman Adam Page versus Kenny Omega. Let's see who is now. Oh yeah, it's me. Hello. Yeah, Kenny wins. Though for me, it's less about whether or not Kenny Omega is going to win, but more in the manner of how he's going to win. Because mostly I believe that the method of how he wins and what happens immediately after the match is probably going to determine the future of the title scene going forward. But I'll elaborate on that in a bit. In the meantime, Best Bout Machine wins. Kenny Omega gets the number 1 contendership. Tarek, you're up. What do you got, Hangman or Kenny?
It's actually funny because this is again head over heart, where especially after this episode of Dynamite Kick with Adam Page's interview with JR, and just how he went on about being so close and to the title and missing it, and now and once he lost it, he basically turned to drinking. And if he loses this one. All he has is the whiskey. And I'm just thinking, oh my god, you made this. You like this was the match that I'm looking forward to the most between Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, and you just basically added like 10 more blocks of me being so invested in this. Adam Page is my favorite wrestler in AEW right now. I absolutely love him. And as much as I would love to see him win, yeah, it's Kenny Omega, and we're gonna get that Kenny Omega Adam Page match for the title sooner rather. Well, maybe a little more later, but definitely down. It's definitely coming.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Brian? Do we have an accord?
Kenny Omega goes full cleaner here. And that promo from Adam Page to me said that after this match, he's going to take some time off, re-find himself, that kind of deal. And it's going to be one of those things where he comes back a bigger babyface than ever, and he goes up against the heel Omega for the title. And it's going to be huge. It's going to be the big story going through the end of the year. But for that to happen, okay, he's first got to hit rock bottom, okay, which is Kenny Omega not just beating him. Okay, it's going to be a great match. It's Kenny Omega and Adam Page. How can it not be a great match? But Kenny Omega is going to beat him and then go full Japan cleaner on him at the end. At the end of the match. So Kenny Omega is your number one contender, and that also goes into my pick for the next match, which at this point should be obvious.
Honestly,
on that note,
honestly, before even we started recording, I knew exactly that Brian and I were going to have the exact same predictions.
Well, let's just dive right into
like,
the main event.
I knew it.
Main event: Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston for the AEW Championship. Tarek, you're up first. Take us home. Make it official.
I will say I am very, very, very impressed by the Great Uniter, Eddie Kingston, with this storyline. This is essentially his Kofi Kingston, Kofi Mania story, because like Kofi, he wasn't supposed to be in this storyline, but he was put into it. And you are now completely and totally invested in this storyline. And this storyline alone, or like we may still have like another like month and a half, but I'm just gonna say it now. Eddie Kingston is now my breakout star of the year. Just from this feud alone. Cause I knew of Eddie Kingston. I just didn't like know him that well, and then I saw this feud, and I'm just like, wow.
Oh yeah,
he caught my attention, and god damn, it's gonna be a very hard to have him say I quit in this match. But you can also say that with Jon Moxley as well. So I think Eddie Kingston is gonna say I quit, but I think he's gonna have like. Pretty similar to a whole Jey Uso, where he has no choice to say, like, he's not going to say I quit willingly. He's going to have to do it to save someone else. And I see Pac coming back to be the instigator for that one, to lead him to say I quit.
I'm not going to go that far. See, I This goes
Just to
back
be
to what I
clear,
said.
you're going Moxley for.
I'm going
the win.
Moxley.
Okay, Brian, you're up.
Here's this goes back to what I was saying with Hardy and Guevara. I think that it was a misstep to have one of their matches be a last man standing match, because I think the first last man standing match would have been served better being here. Okay, I don't think I Quit works here because I can't see either of these guys saying the words. I mean, you can go the route of I've got John Moxley, you could put that down.
Okay.
But here's the deal. Okay. There was a clean finish between these two 4 weeks ago. In the middle of the ring, uncontested. Okay. I should not be that invested in this match. Okay. It's the match I'm most looking forward to going into this show. And you can base that off of the promo work the last 3 weeks from these guys. Because holy shit. Okay. They did something that is so difficult in the world of wrestling today. Okay. They took a match that is predictable as hell. Okay. Okay. Because as much as people I want to say Kingston's a winner. I want Kingston to be champion. Okay. I want to be able to say that. Okay. But here's the deal. Whoever wins the number one contender match, okay, is champion of Revolution. No matter who's the champion going in. Okay. And do you really want Eddie Kingston to be a transitional champion, WWE style, just to say that he held the title? I'm like, for me, it's like, I don't want Eddie Kingston to have the title unless he's going to have an actual title run, which in this case, he's not going to. So that's what basically precipitated my pick, because I would love to say Eddie Kingston's champion. Eddie Kingston is the best promo in the business today, bar none. Okay. But he made me believe, okay, that he deserved this title shot after taking a clean loss in the middle of the ring for the title a month ago. Okay. He made me believe he deserved a rematch. And then he made this like this is up there for top feud of the year for me. In 3 weeks. Okay. Just putting it together. But okay, I can't in good conscience say that Eddie Kingston's gonna win the title, because he's gonna lose it at Revolution. If he does. The next champion is the winner of this tournament, whether you like it or not. There's no way around it. Okay, that's it.
I don't understand. I wouldn't know anyone who wouldn't like that.
Well, I'll tell you.
No.
Okay. Are you gonna let me explain my logic?
No, because there is no logic.
Well, yeah, there is. Yeah, there is.
Because there's the feud, the money feud going forward is Kenny Omega versus Adam Page for the title. Okay, in order to get there, you need to have a money match that gets Omega the title. Gets a heel Omega the title. Okay. Kingston's the heel in this feud, even though you don't know it, because he's got the face storyline. Okay, that's it. He's got the face storyline, but he's the heel. Okay. That's the tough deal. But it's the thing for me. Okay. no matter what, okay, there's no way around it. Okay, whoever wins this match is facing the winner of the #1 contender tournament at Revolution and is going to lose. That's it. And I don't want Eddie Kingston's I don't want Eddie Kingston to be a transitional champion where he loses his. And there's always one title shot in between. That doesn't really mean anything. So Eddie Kingston will get one title defense before he loses it to Kenny Omega, if we're going by my prediction. And at that point, so they did a disservice here in making it an I Quit match. In a last man standing match, okay, that promo, you're gonna have to kill me, would work.
I'll tell you what,
it would work, but I can't see either one of these guys quitting, so the match is rough. But as much as I want to go with my heart here, as much as I know that Jeff's about to go with his heart here, as much as I know that, I have to go with my head. The money is in Moxley Omega. The full storyline, the full circle of the storyline is Moxley Omega. In my eyes, Moxley wins here. There's no doubt, and there is no logic. As much as you think that
you haven't allowed me to get a word in edgewise yet.
As much as
my prediction, please.
I don't even
oh man, I want
just from what you said when you tried to cut in earlier and said, "Let me give you my logic." I know where you're going with this.
No, you don't.
But there is for it goes down like this. Kingston will be champion one day, but it cannot be this weekend.
Okay. Okay. All I was going to say was, I think it's the most likely option that Jon Moxley is going to retain through whatever means. However, as I was alluding to earlier, the result in my mind all comes down to what happens with the Hangman and Omega match. Because if it all depends in my mind on whatever Kenny Omega does. Because in my mind, I'd say it's absolutely certain that Kenny Omega is going to win that match. But if to me, it all depends on whether or not he's going to be a face Kenny Omega or a heel Kenny Omega. If he's a heel Kenny Omega, then I feel like it's a natural setup for Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega for the title. It's got to happen. It's a money match. But if it's face Kenny winning that match, and then Hangman ends up turning heel or just like shrugging him off, whatever. In my mind, that makes it makes Eddie Kingston winning that match. It takes it from an absolute no to a maybe in my mind. Because let's be real, with as many heads as Eddie Kingston's been turning, he is a born and bred heel. He can be as nasty as he needs to be to get it done. And it may not be the most popular pick, but I can absolutely see a Kenny Omega versus heel Eddie Kingston being money. Eddie Kingston can easily talk people into the room. He can easily talk people into buying a pay-per-view. And Kenny Omega, just like, again, best bout machine. He delivers every single time he's out there. That being said, what's my prediction? I'm going to be bold here. I'm going to go with John Moxley.
because here was going to be my rebuttal for your whole
I didn't
faith.
say I didn't think I thought it was going to happen. I said
Oh,
I thought it was possible, not likely, but possible. But again, it depends on too many factors going into that match and where it could possibly go after that. But it's just has too many moving parts to make it work effectively. And like you said, I think John Moxley versus Kenny Omega is going to be the money match going forward. So yeah, John Moxley retains this one, and it leads into the next chapter.
yeah, because it's also the whole thing that when Kenny Omega and John Moxley had their first match, who was the heel?
Was there one?
Exactly. That's my point.
They're really
So if you're going, so it's one of those. If it's that kind of thing, okay, you're not going by face and heel dynamics with a Moxley versus Omega match. So it's one of those when Omega wins the title. No, I can still see the heel Kingston versus the face Omega, or the neutral Omega. Like I never see Omega going full heel unless he's going against Page. Because everyone's going to be on Page's side at that point. But it's like Kenny Omega and John Moxley will always be like neutral. They'll never get completely booed. They'll never get completely cheered when they're going against each other. So it's like if Kenny Omega comes out complete babyface, okay, you could still it's still Moxley. because it's just it's the match that makes the most sense to get Omega the title.
All right then.
So that's that's the main reason. It's like it makes the most sense, and I think it would actually hurt Kingston to win the championship at this point because he'll lose it in 2 months, and that would be rough. You don't give Kingston the title until you actually feel the need to give him a full run, because that's the way AEW works with its main championships. You get a nice little run with it before you lose it. Okay, that's it.
All right then. So with that, those are all our predictions in for AEW Full Gear. Now is where we turn it over to you, our wrestling watching, observing, commenting, and listening audience. No matter where you are, we want to hear from you. Are our picks on point? Is there something else going to happen with between Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, John Moxley, Eddie Kingston, whatever it is? We want to hear from you. So drop us a line all across the internet. YouTube comments, Facebook comments, wherever we are, we want to hear from you, especially if we're talking the Twitter machines, starting with at ScholarsOW for our main account for all the latest episode uploads. Or you can also join the conversation with us directly on our personal Twitter accounts. Fool, where can they reach you?
You can reach me knowing for a fact that I'm not going to be Scholars of Wrestling champion after this show, and I'm okay with that, at the Avataric.
Brian, where can they reach you?
You can find me yelling at people for stuff they haven't even said yet at Atomic Beanpole.
And you can watch me being highly confused and commenting on the little sides, backstage vignettes, most likely, at I'm Robbie Rage. Join the conversation. It's always a good time, especially when the big shows come around. But let's be real. You already knew that because you already knew who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
Which one of these three will be Scholars of Wrestling champion afterwards? Be sure
Tune
to find
in
out
and
next
find
week.
out on Dragon Ball Z.